Hi y'all, this is Rob, aka Life on Two Wheels, and today I'm going to share a bike trip I took from Santa Monica Metro Station to Sycamore Canyon Campground, and that's located in Point Mugu State Park. I started off my trip by riding to my local metro station in Arcadia and taking the train through downtown LA to Santa Monica Station near the pier. Here you can see I'm headed towards the pier on this lovely separated bike path. In the far distance there is the gateway to the Santa Monica Pier. And when I arrive there, I'll be making a right turn and getting on Pacific Coast Highway, where I will spend the majority of my trip. As I made the right turn on Pacific Coast Highway, I was reminded of something I had neglected to think about, and that was the fact that as you're traveling northbound on Pacific Coast Highway, you are going to encounter headwinds. And since I was pressed for time to get to the campground before dark, this presented sort of an issue for me. But I did equip myself with some lights so that if I did have to ride in the dark, I would at least be prepared. On this ride, my bike was loaded down with plenty of things. I had camping equipment and food and 3 containers of water, so coming down hills like this was very nice, very pleasurable. But as I rounded this corner and started the small hill to get over the overpass, I realized I hadn't gotten the appropriate gear and had to jump off to push my bike just a little bit because I don't have high quality gears and I wanted to put less stress than just forcing the gears at this point, so I had to walk my bike a little bit, but there's no shame in that. At this point in my trip, I got to ride directly on the beach, which was really nice, really pretty, really beautiful. And the way they have this path set up is very nice. They have the walkers on one side, and then they have the bikers, skaters, etc. on the other side. So it's nice and safe and spaced out. At this point in my trip, it got a little bit hairy because I was approaching the area where the fire reconstruction was happening. So there were some lane closures and there was a bunch of cones posted around some of the rebuilding and construction that was going on. So sometimes the cones helped, sometimes they didn't. During the times that the cones helped, I was able to ride on the inside of the cones, and it gave me a little bit of a safety barrier between myself and the cars. Other times I had to ride to the left of the cones, which was a little bit sketchy, but I just have to deal with the danger when I'm doing something like this and try to be as safe as I can. The weather for my trip was very pleasant. I had left later in the day, so the main sunny part of the day had already gone past me. And I had a slight cloud cover which kept the direct sunlight off of me for most of my ride. About this point was when things started getting a bit more scenic, as there were less houses and buildings in general, and I could make out some of the beautiful coastline I was heading towards in the north. Now, as I'm going through this very scenic part of the trip, I'd like to encourage anybody who has an inkling to do this kind of thing to really embrace that and understand that it's a very low barrier to entry. If you have any kind of bicycle and a backpack, you can start taking trips. You can move up slowly to more equipment, better gearing, all sorts of advancements. But just to start, it's very easy. A bike and a backpack and a destination. And if you add in local metro kind of transportations as far as trains, buses, or even a friend who has room to throw your bike in a car, you can extend the distance that you travel and see things from a new perspective. It's very different riding a bike to places than driving a car. You see so much more, and it's just really fulfilling. So here you can see the sun is starting to go down as I near my destination, so I actually had to stop recording very soon after this because there was really no sunlight to make an appropriate recording. I did arrive to the campground shortly after dark and was able to check in, set up my tent, and have a nice meal before I laid down on my air mattress and got some winks. I believe here I was passing some sort of surf spot, as I saw a lot of people getting in and out of their wetsuits here, and there was a lot of traffic, and everybody got to enjoy a beautiful sunset. This is a brief shot of my campground in the morning, where I had my coffee, cleaned up. It was really nice. It was separated away from all the car camping, which was really pleasant. I highly recommend this campground, and it was only $10. I had a shower, cleaned up, and then I took a little ride around the campground so I could see what there was to see. Here at the end of this road is a fire road that has some sort of trail system attached to it. When I looked at a map later on, I did find that there was many trails in this area, and I'll definitely explore them when I return to this place. I really enjoy cruising my loaded bike through campgrounds because I get a lot of smiles and waves and the occasional conversation asking where I'm going, where I've been, telling me about their past adventures. And it's just nice being around people who really appreciate the outdoors and make an effort out of their lives to get out there in the trees and maybe take their kids out. It's just really pleasant. As I'm nearing the end of this road from the campground to the highway, I'm setting my Garmin watch so I can track the mileage and getting ready for this nice trip with a tailwind. The thing about riding into a headwind is that when you are riding back, you've got a tailwind. So this trip was a lot shorter and a lot easier, and it was actually more scenic, as you can see, because I'm right up next to the beach and I got some great views of the coastline. As I hit this scenic spot of the ride, I just want to express my gratitude to my father for instilling the passion I have for bicycling. He was really into it, and it gave him a lot of joy, and especially when he would get his family together to ride with him, and he would lead us on little adventures, and it was amazing, and it was beautiful to see. Even as he got towards the end of his life, he enjoyed sitting on the couch watching TV and pedaling his little tiny exercise bike as he watched some sort of music or video on the TV. And I'm just really grateful that he instilled in me this excitement for riding. I get a lot of joy as I see my kids pick it up too, and I hope that continues for them, and I know it's continuing for me. Here I am crossing into Malibu, and in Malibu I got a close-up view of some of the fire damage that people experienced here on the coast. It's quite jarring, the juxtaposition of the beautiful coastline and the burnt out wreckage on the side of the road. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I appreciate it greatly, and feel free to leave any comments or suggestions regarding the recording of this video. The style, the voiceover, the background music, and even the camera position. This particular ride was made with a chest mount, and I believe that leans toward a more immersive kind of video. But I may experiment with a handlebar mount or a helmet mount in the future. We will see what works. Most of all, I like to encourage you to just take a ride. It doesn't have to be long. This trip ended up being about 32 miles each way from the Santa Monica train station to the campground, with a total of 64 miles that I did in 2 days. That was nice for me, but it's just nice to get out there and ride, so don't be intimidated by people doing long distances. Just get out there and ride. It's a good time.